So for those of you who are going to be following us on YouTube, because we just turned on the recording for YouTube, we're in for a treat today. Marisa Peer. You will absolutely love her. And I am completely obsessed with her. And so I want to encourage you to ask any questions that you have, type in a Q, write the question down. And if we have time, we'll ask Marisa the question. And so fasten your seatbelt because we're going to learn that we are enough. Here we go. It's time to dance, Marisa. Although you're walking around. Here we go.
No, I'm just actually plugging in my computer.
Oh, yes, that's very important. Here we go.
My PA is trapped in France, so I just suddenly realized that she does all these things for me, like make sure.
No worries. We're about to be muted and start the theme song.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friends and my viewing friends on Facebook Live at Lillian's radio show. It's so nice to meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who have been tuning in since 2011 or maybe yesterday for the first time, came on and found out that there is a classroom on board here on Facebook and YouTube and podcast, welcome back. But if this is the first time that you've tuned in, please know that I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends, as I said, at facebook.com/Lillian's radio show, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. And so, many of us, because I want to go straight into hearing what Marisa has to say, but before I want to set up the purpose of today's class. And, many of us in this year, I am committed to working with people, with teachers in the classroom to help us understand the importance of our thoughts, of our spirit. And when we are focused on healing that, in different ways, like yesterday we talked about recall healing. And so when we focus on healing that, once our spirit is at that place where it's shining on its own and your mind, then all of a sudden your body will heal. It gives the body permission to heal. It's amazing how this happens. So many of us carry past traumas, resentment, angers like a badge of honor, and we carry the sack of potatoes with us everywhere we go. Some people just don't know how to heal, and others think that talk therapy or maybe psychotherapy is just very expensive or takes too long. And so when I was told about Marisa Peer, which, by the way, my first doll was named Marisa, and loved my doll. And this is another doll, just a wonderful, beautiful woman. And so when I learned about Marisa Peer, and that she created a formula for success called rapid transformational therapy, I was hooked. Now, Marisa has spent over 30 years treating clients, including international superstars, CEO, royalty, Olympic athletes. She has helped thousands of people to overcome profound personal issues, producing dramatic and life-changing results. Marisa is a best-selling author of 5 books, a speaker, a teacher who empowers everyone to believe they are enough. Marisa will share how we can individually learn that I is what you are enough as well. And I just am so thrilled because it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge. And I am so grateful that Marisa Peer is here to do just that. Welcome, Marisa, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show classroom.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Now get closer because now that you're further away, we're having a hard time hearing you. So if you can get a little closer. So here we go. I just want to make sure we hear everything you have to say. So Marisa, you started off as a child psychologist. And so your journey has taken you quite a long way. So share a little bit about your background. So for people who don't know who you are, can fall in love with you as I have.
My background, gosh, that seems like a lifetime ago, but my parents didn't actually think I was very bright, and they sort of told me I should become a nanny, and I was kind of thinking about being a nanny, and I was told I could never have children. So I thought, well, maybe that's a good thing, then I'll just be a nanny and raise other people's children. But then I began to think, no, I could do more than that. So I went off to study to be a child psychologist. I was very, very young in a very deprived part of England, and I didn't really love it because when you're a child psychologist, you have 3 patients, mother, father, child, especially if they're divorced. And it was very hard to get through to the children. You got to go through the parents. It was a deprived part of England. I didn't love it. And I found myself, by a quirk of fate, if you believe in fate, actually going to Beverly Hills and teaching aerobics for Jane Fonda instead, which was much more fun than being a child.
I can imagine.
So that was amazing. I loved Jane. I loved living in LA. It was like a whole trip. But I noticed, because I already had a fascination with psychology, I began to spend my entire adult life studying human behavior. And what I noticed, because LA was so different to England, is that every 3rd woman coming to Jane Fonda's workout studio was bulimic or anorexic or indeed body dysmorphic. And what people would do is they would try and fix it logically. You know, I'm bulimic, so I just got to lose weight. I'm anorexic, and I've just got to, you know, I'm body dysmorphic, and I just need to make sense. And I understood very early on that one of the rules of the mind is that you cannot defeat emotion with logic. It's a complete waste of time. And so I began to always look for what lies beneath anorexia, what lies beneath bulimia and body dysmorphia, and how come these movie stars and heads of TV studios, because a lot of very important people came to Jane's studio because of who Jane was. Mm-hmm. Why have they got this? And then I realized that they just didn't think they were adequate. Everything was to do with what they weighed and what they looked like. And that led me into studying human behavior and studying the psychology of eating disorders. And the most effective way to fix that was using hypnosis, which I did. And then people would ring me up and go, look, I know you're the eating disorders girl in Beverly Hills. I got a fear of lifts, but I only want to see you. So I diversified into everything because it was actually much more fun. And then I began to notice that all my clients, they had the same issue. They just didn't think they were enough, whether it was a movie star or a single mom. Everyone I dealt with at every level had this same thing. I'm not enough. I'm not enough, so I need more food, more stuff, more praise, more alcohol, more drugs, more shopping. And I began to think, well, I should be really treating the I'm not enoughness because it lies beneath everything. And it led me to forming the I'm Enough movement and taking it into schools and training therapists all over the world to really recognize that even when people are in rehab and you get them to stop drinking, if you don't treat what lies beneath, I'm not enough, and I drink to numb the pain. I'm not enough, so one glass is never enough. I need more. I'm not enough, so I use drugs or food to fill up this emptiness inside. And if you can do that, you'll be very successful. And if you can't, it's like mowing your lawn going, why do these weeds keep coming back? Well, because you're just treating them at surface level. You've got to find the root. And the root of almost everyone's issues in the Western world is the same. I'm not enough. It's a common denominator of binging, being self-destructive, sabotaging yourself, being depressed, being anxious. it all comes back to this not enoughness, which is actually easy to fix when you can identify it.
And that's what's so beautiful and so simple about what you bring. And I'm not trying to simplify what you do, because what you do is very important, but how wonderful that you have given us tools that simplifies this enoughness, this struggle that many of us have, that from childhood, that childhood past trauma that somehow we made up in our belief that we weren't enough.
And Einstein said, simplify, simplify, simplify. And my mission has always been to simplify therapy, to make it simple, to make it fast, to make the results fast. I mean, there's no other model in the world that says, bring me your toothache, your stomach ache, your acne, your dermatitis, your nervous tremor, and we'll just discuss it every week. I mean, if any other health practitioner offered you that, I know you've got a raging toothache, let's discuss it. I know you've got chronic acne. I know you've got palpitation, we're going to talk about it. You could go, no, that's not right. Can't you fix it? And people want to be fixed. You know, all patients, all clients want to be better. And all therapists are good people, and they've all got a heart to want to help. It's not diminishing them. Mm-hmm. The model of let's discuss your pain every week for years is
painful.
It's painful.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, you know, I'm a therapist, and the thing is, the client has to build up a rapport with the therapist. I don't build a rapport with my dentist. I go, I'm in pain. I've got a wisdom tooth. I've got a crack. I don't have to build up any rapport. I just go, get the pain away. I mean, recently my dentist said, you've got a massive crack in your tooth, and he had to take it out and then give me a bone graft, then put in a new one. It took weeks. I didn't build up any relationship with him. I did it in, he did it. I paid him a huge amount of money, and he fixed it. But we tell people these lies. You need to build a relationship. Therapy should be long and painful. Somebody said to me, you know, therapy is a journey. You try every day to crawl out of the pain with no guarantee of success. I'm like, well, what's the point of that? I say to people, come to me. One of the people I've trained, we will make you better. We almost guarantee we will make you better. It's like that song by Coldplay, I will fix you. Well, he says, I'll try to fix you. Mm-hmm. We offer people something real. If you do this and this and this, you'll get better.
You know, there are many doctors, especially with cancer, doctors that can only offer limited, there are other alternatives out there, but chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery are the only three things in the United States, I don't know about England, that insurance will pay for here in the States. And they'll usually say, you know, you'll have X amount of days to live, or we'll try, I don't know if this is going to work. And people still go to doctors like that. Instead, I want to go to a doctor that says to me, I'm an expert at this. I'm going to help you. I'm going to be able to, this is a piece of cake. We're going to work together. We're going to make this happen. But for some reason, we don't look at our health, whether it's mental or whatever it is, the same way. So we should expect someone that has faith in us to get better.
Yeah, but also people come to, and they go, here's my illness. Can you fix it? And it's like, no. You must participate in your recovery. So in order for you to get well of anything, including cancer, you have to take some actions. I mean, that's right. We have a 6-stage cancer protocol, and it involves changing your diet. You know, food is your medicine, medicine is your food. Yeah. I mean, if you have cancer and you live on a diet full of sugar, you're feeding cancer.
That's right.
Most oncologists I know don't eat sugar because they get feeds cancer. Some do, a lot don't. It involves taking certain supplements so that your body has the strength to fight back. It involves taking all the parabens out of your soap powder and your washing powder and the stuff you put on your body, the pounds and pounds of stuff we make our immune system process. It involves being able to visualize, and it involves doing something called role, function, purpose, which people don't understand, which is looking at why you ever got cancer. Some people don't need to do that, because if someone turns up and goes, you've got 3 kids and breast cancer, I'd never go, well, do you think you gave that to yourself? I think that's so offensive to ever say that to people. Mm-hmm. There are people who really benefit from looking at what was going on when they got cancer. But even aside from that, the diet, the visualization, the supplements, the parabens, they're not sleeping in a soup of electromagnetic frequencies are all really useful at helping cancer. There are some people who've got better with diet alone.
Mm-hmm.
So in England, we are very lucky that because it's all free, that everything is free. So you can go and have acupuncture and hypnotherapy and massage therapy, and you can have a lot of alternatives, reflexology, it's all offered. But even they are not on board with the diet. And I stole the menu from one of the chemotherapy wards in one of the hospitals I was working at, because I was so horrified that when you're having chemo, they give you chocolate milkshakes and chocolate ice cream, frozen lollies, everything full of sugar to build you up. And then they don't want you to have anything real, like heaven forbid you should have vegetable soup or a green juice. It might have germs in it, but you can have a can of Coke. And they say, well, that's okay, have whatever you want. You need the sugar to build you up. I'm like, but sugar feeds cancer.
It does.
And so I've been trying to work within the National Health for a long time to get them to get on board with what you eat as well as what you think. But that's just cancer. There are other illnesses where it's really about what you think. So a lot of the autoimmune illnesses, the irritable bowels, the polycystic ovaries, the fibromyalgia, vitiligo, impetigo, so many of those issues where the body is attacking itself can be really effectively fixed with RTT. And in fact, doctors will tell you, honestly, 70% of people going into A&E have issues that they can't even fix because the symptoms are real, but they're caused by the mind. So I could have panic attacks or asthma or eczema, but that doesn't mean my body is causing it. My mind is doing that, even with fitting. And doctors will tell you, they have success with maybe a third of their patients because so many of them have real issues, real migraines. The migraine pain is absolutely real.
Sure.
It's the mind that's causing it. And if the mind is causing it, you can't really fix that by taking the mind out of the equation and going, here's medication, here's more medication. You have to go back to the source of the migraine and fix it there.
So let's talk about the role of that migraine. I mean, you've talked about the root cause and that the majority of us, that it comes from not feeling enough. And so you have many times that I've researched your work, and you say, okay, there's a role and there's a purpose. There's a role, a function, and a purpose for everything. So let's talk about the role of that migraine.
So, and that's a great question. You see, many clients don't recognize it. They have at some level created their illness, not intentionally. No one wakes up and goes, wow, why don't I just be sick? That will solve all my problems. But at another level, they say to the mind, I need to get out of this meeting. I can't cope with the pressure on me. I'd give anything to spend a weekend in bed lying around. This commute to work is going to be my boss. Makes me want to die. Now, the role of your mind is not to make you happy, it's to keep you alive on the planet. If you say, the commute is killing me, my boss makes me want to die, if I have one word, I'm going to jump out of the window. Say all these throwaway words, this stress is killing me, my kid makes me want to die, these teenagers will be the death of me, I'm going to finish that project if it kills me, if it's the last thing I do. But your mind, which is always switched on and always on record, here's one thing: this job is killing you. Well, my job is to keep you alive. So why don't I give you a lovely ulcer, chronic diarrhea, ME, nervous twitch, anything that will stop you doing what you tell me is killing you. So the mind listens to everything we say. It's always on record. It's like when people say, my last boyfriend, well, he ripped out my heart, smashed pieces, stamped all over it. And if another guy does that, it will kill me. Now your mind goes, well, I know how to stop that. Just never have another guy or another girl.
Or sabotage, so I won't, right?
Yeah. So when you say that, if another guy dumps me, I'll die. If another woman just runs off with my money, it would be the end of me. Your mind is now going to make sure that doesn't happen. You're going to be very aware of how you dialogue. But we created something which I'm immensely proud of called role, function, purpose, and intention. And what that means is that we put people in hypnosis and we ask them, look, I know this is a funny question, but what is the role, function, purpose, and intention of the migraine? I want you to go, I'm the migraine, and my role is, my function is, my purpose is, really my job is. And the stuff they come out with is fascinating. I worked with somebody only last month who had narcolepsy. She was in my school and she kept falling asleep. And so I got her up on stage and she said, well, you know, it costs my medical insurance $20,000 a month for my meds. And I live in terror that one day they'll stop paying. And what will I do? Because they keep me awake. Because I got this when I was 14. I'm like, she said, I've got a missing part of my brain. I said, well, that's debatable, because you have to be born with a missing part of your brain. Unless you have brain damage, it doesn't just go wandering off when you're 14 years old.
Correct.
I put her in hypnosis and asked her, I'm the narcolepsy, what's my role? And she said, my sister was murdered when I was 16. I couldn't cope with life. And then she went back to 2 more scenes where her father kept a secret that he was gay, and another scene. And her mind just believed that reality was so painful, the sleeping was escaping. I had another one with narcolepsy who remembered a little girl, mother saying, she's such a good girl, she sleeps all the time. She's a good sleeper, she's the only one, the others kill me, because but this one, she's a good sleeper. And so she believed that you were good by sleeping all the time. You know, children operate on a level way below logic. If you say something to them, they believe it. Like my little girl one day at Christmas, I said, you know, Santa Claus is coming down the chimney. She goes, Mummy, I don't want a man with big claws to come down the chimney, because they don't hear what we hear. So that's an interesting thing. And then even with tiny kids, I had a little boy of 5 who had really bad dermatitis and eczema all over his body. I said to him, you know, I do it different with kids. I say, look, I know this is a silly question, but I like to ask silly questions. If the eczema was your friend and wanted to help you as a friend, how is it being your friend? And he said, without skipping a beat, well, every night I stand like that and Mummy puts cream and wet bandages on my, and he called it his sensible skin, meant sensitive skin, my sensible skin. And she doesn't put any cream on that baby, which was very interesting, I thought, because then, of course, I could immediately see that at some level he'd said to Mummy, who's massaging you, baby, can I have that? She goes, no, you're a big boy. Mummy, I want you to massage me. No, it's just for the baby. You had that. It's the baby's turn. But when you think, I want Mummy to put cream on me, I must find a way for Mummy to put cream on me, the mind doesn't hear that. That's a command. The mind goes, I'm going to do anything.
I hear and obey. Yeah.
To get your mum to put cream on you. And he did. And then we had another little boy with the most excruciating migraines, which is very unusual for a small child. When I said to him, this is silly, but let's be silly. If the migraines were your friend, I hadn't even finished the question. He said, well, I get migraines when Mummy and Daddy shout. And when I get a migraine, they turn off all the lights and we lie in the dark. And Mummy calls me her little snake because I have to lie in a cold, dark, quiet room. And of course, he'd done the same thing. He'd heard the parents shout and thought, I must find a way to stop them shouting. I've got to find a way. But at 5, you can't find a way. And so you feel helpless and hopeless that the mind goes, hey, I can find a way. You want to stop those people shouting? How about chronic headaches where you become sensitive to light and sensitive to noise? And now you're lying on the sofa and those fighting parents are stroking your head and speaking in a low, lovely voice. And you know, it's fascinating. Even this year, this girl came to me through Skype and she said, I can't even go out. My skin burns. I have such sensitivity to UV lights that I can only go out in the dark. And in the summer, my life is hell. And she went back to being bullied and was a child of a single mother who wasn't very kind. She said, well, listen, I got to go to a job I hate, get over it. And then she came back again and said, Mum, I'm being really bullied because I can't help you. You got to go to school. So what did you think? And she said, I just wanted to be at home all the time. I just wished I could stay at home, always be in the house. And I said, and now you have this skin disease where you can't leave the house. Because without meaning to, or certainly planning to, you said to your mind, I just want to stay at home. very seductive for a kid who's being bullied to just stay at home watching TV all day. And now you can't physically go out because your skin blisters. After that session, she went out that afternoon. Her skin has never burnt since because she understood the role and function. And once you've got the role and function, you go and have a little dialogue with it and go, look, thank you. You don't go, I hate you. How could you? You go, oh, okay, I get it. You were trying to help me. Thank you so much. But I've got it now. I don't need it anymore. It's okay. And that's the important thing, that even if you have an illness that you absolutely hate and despise and detest, like being chronically obese, maybe when you were 8, your mother's boyfriend looked at you funny and lusted after you, and you said, I wish you didn't look at my body like that. And lo and behold, and I find many, many women who struggle with their weight and men to have been lusted after. Someone looked at their body and touched it or made completely inappropriate suggestions, and all they can do is disguise that body because that's terrifying for them.
So the body hears and obey. So, you know, when people are, you see this trance, when people are hypnotized and, you know, they're given a command and you hear, I hear and obey. So the body doesn't necessarily interpret what we really mean. We may be saying something without thinking about it, and the body interprets it. Excuse me?
Well, let me make it really clear, because it's very simple. The mind listens to every thought you think, and the mind's number one job is to keep you alive. If you say anything that's a threat, that will be the death of me. I'm at my maximum bandwidth. This is just killing me. The mind makes a decision below the level of consciousness. Whatever's killing you, you're going to have to avoid that for the rest of your life. It's why people who say, you know, I had a baby, I've got I can't get pregnant again. I've got secondary infertility. And that's always because when they give birth, they go, never again, it would kill me. Oh my God, I nearly died. It was a nightmare. And the mind goes, well, if that nearly killed you, you cannot go through it again. So when you think a thought and say things, it's not a thought, it's a command and a request. Do anything and everything to stop that. So now the mind's got a direct command. It must stop you doing anything that's a threat. And it acts on that, and will act on it forever unless you go back and interrupt it. So many people will say, you know, I'm scared of cats or dogs or bees. And that's often because that dog's going to bite you, that cat's going to scratch you. And all these years later, they still have the fear. And so what you then do is go back and renegotiate with the mind to let it go. And it's actually very, very straightforward. You know, the amount of kids who don't want to go to school because they're being bullied or because they're under pressure to get higher grades than they think they can get, will get anxiety attacks and upset stomachs and panic attacks. And a very basic version of that is when we go, wow, what I'd give for a week just lying around in bed, and we get the flu. And the mind goes, well, you said you wanted that. Or when we say, oh, I'm absolutely dreading next Wednesday. I've got to take a test or give a presentation or go for a meeting with my boss and lead the team, and I'd give anything not to go. And come next Wednesday, you wake up with chronic diarrhea or streaming with a cold or with a cracking headache, and now you can't go. And the mind's like, see, I gave you what you wanted. Of course, that isn't what you want.
Yes, exactly. The interpretation might be a little off.
Yeah, well, the mind can't interpret because it's a feeling mind. It's not really a thinking mind. The subconscious is a feeling mind. And so your body is controlled by a network of intelligence, which is influenced by your mind. And that is why when you say to someone with cancer, you've got 9 months left, they literally go 8 months, 7 months, 6 months, and they will turn into the diagnosis. That's why placebos work very well. You think, oh, this pill is going to fix everything. And if your mind thinks it, it can create it. I mean, the mind, amazingly, can create the symptoms of pretty much every illness in the world. It can also get rid of them.
Yes.
That's the good thing.
That's the good thing. So speaking of the good things, so if the root cause is lack of feeling that you're enough, and I know that there, you know, you had mentioned that there are three. I believe it's not enough, I am different, or it's not available. Those are the three that.
Whatever illness you or your family or friends may have, whatever issue anyone in your life has, whether it's a physical issue of I've got terrible headaches, I've got irritable bowel, I've got a nervous twitch, or whether it's an emotional thing like I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I self-sabotage, there's only three things wrong with you and everyone else in the modern world. Obviously, if you're in Africa and you're starving, that's a whole different thing. But in the modern Western world, we have three things wrong with us. And number one is I'm not enough. And if you're not enough, you need more. I need more stuff. I need to keep buying stuff, hoarding stuff. I need more praise. I need more because I'm not enough. The second thing is what I want is not available. So I'm working so hard to not drink or to not be depressed, but I've got the gene, you see. I've got the gene. I'm going on all these dating sites to find love, but I know I'm not lovable. Marilyn Monroe had that belief. So did Diana. So the second one is I want it, but it's not available. And the third one is I'm different, so I can't connect, which sounds less important, but actually we survived by connecting not that long ago, and disconnection is terrifying for humans. Yeah. We must connect. We live in a world where, you know, we have robots that serve us. We can get Amazon, and we don't have to see anyone. We can go for days without seeing a soul. And that disconnection is making people really, really unwell. And if you're disconnected, guess what? If you get sick, you get connected. Suddenly you're in hospital. The doctor's tapping your arm to get a vein up, rubbing a cream in, you know, putting a plaster on you. And people who are disconnected get sick a lot because it's the next best thing to being loved. I might not be loved, but I feel cared about. People
you're touched. Yeah.
You get touch, you get warmth, you get affection. And for many children, especially, they think, well, I wasn't sure mommy loved me, but now she's got to make all this special gluten-free food and put on this special cream. So at the minimum, I feel significant. I feel I matter. And children who use sickness without knowing it to feel important become adults who will always be sick to feel important. They don't choose it.
No.
Because if they could choose to get rid of it, but they unconsciously request it and then don't know how to get rid of it.
Okay, so with that in mind, once you become aware that perhaps mine is like when I was a little girl, you know, I was told by my second grade teacher that I wouldn't be enough, that I would never amount to much. And then when I was about 10, my paternal grandmother said that if I stopped learning how to play the piano, she would stop loving me. Well, I stopped learning how to play the piano. So I took this, and it took me many years to figure this out. I took this good for nothing, you know, unlovable person to everything I did. Although I was successful in many ways, it was never enough. It was not because I was not ordained to be successful. So I once you become aware, it's still there in many cases. So what are some of the steps that people can take to say, okay, now that I'm going to tell myself I am enough, how are the ways that we can do so?
And that's such a beautiful question, because many people think, oh, well, if I can find out why, isn't that enough to fix it? Not really. For some people, yes, some people, you know, I know I'm always late. I did it for attention. I'm never late again. That's great. But many people will say, I know why. I know why I feel unlovable, because my dad left when I was 2. He never saw me again, never paid child support. Another kid who he treated like the Messiah, and I felt inadequate. I know all of that, but here I am today, and I still feel inadequate. Marilyn Monroe knew why she felt unlovable. Both her parents abandoned her fully. Diana knew that her mother left when she was 4, and she never got to live with her, except on a holiday, ever again. So that feeling is, if my own mother could leave, how can I be lovable? And it's a question that people don't know how to answer, but there is a way around it. So one of the things we do in our tea very effectively is go back to key scenes. Okay, when you were 1, your dad said, I never wanted this kid anyway, or I only wanted a son, this is a daughter, or whatever. And you began to feel worthless. But now you have to look at this and go, but that isn't me. And you have to justify why that's not you. My granddad used to put his hand up my skirt, and so I made myself unattractive. But he's dead. And if he was here now and he did that, I tell you, I would knock him out. So I don't need to hold on to weight to make myself feel safe. I don't need to have asthma or eczema to keep people at bay. I don't need to keep being sick to feel lovable. Love is out there, it's available. So one of the best things to do is to say, it's not me. It's not me, because it cannot be, because that is not me ever again for the rest of my life, because So, you know, clients will tell me, one of my clients was telling me this story that he was a premature baby, only weighed 2 pounds. The mother spent the whole 6 months of his birth crying. Every time he got weighed, she would cry. Every time he vomited out the milk, she would cry more. They had monitors on the crib, and they had to feed him, weigh him, feed him, weigh him. And it was so stressful because the belief was if this kid doesn't gain weight, it's going to have to be incubated for months. So they force-fed him over and over again. And then when he ate, they'd say, what a good boy, you kept all that food down. As he got older, they would always praise him for eating and praise him for gaining weight. And it doesn't take much to guess that this guy was extremely overweight. I think he weighed 600 pounds.
Wow.
And I said, so look, so the truth is you gain 600 pounds because of the belief that if you don't eat, it will kill you. But the reality is eating like that is going to kill you. You're not a premature baby. You're not going to die ever now from not eating. You're likely to die from overeating. So you do the logical bit, but it's what I call, you're like a detective first of all, and the detective will investigate. A good detective looks at pictures and goes, oh, look at that picture. What does that mean? How do these pictures, you see them pinning them up on a board.
Mm-hmm.
They're gathering information to work out what has gone on here. So a great RTT therapist, first of all, becomes a detective, and they investigate. Okay, you weren't born with narcolepsy. You weren't born unable to leave food. You weren't born unable to express yourself. You certainly weren't born lacking confidence, because the first thing that happened when everyone looked at you, counted your toes, no one goes, don't look at me, I've got no hair or no teeth. So we know that this is acquired, and we're investigating why. Mm-hmm. And then you find the imprint that happens when you have a scared child and an authority figure, and it forms an imprint. And then when you've got the imprint, you interpret it. Okay, rather like this guy. Yes, it makes anyone with your child, the mother crying hysterically if you couldn't eat, would have learned to eat. You learned to bypass your ability to leave food in the same way that parents go, come on, hurry up, the bus is coming. Finish your breakfast, quick. And they learn to bulk food. Or, well, if you finish that, you can have ice cream. And if you're good, you can have chocolate. And they train their kids to bypass it. Go, I've had enough, I don't want to eat anymore. So now we're interrupting the story. We interpret it, and then we interrupt it and go, okay, that was then, it's not you. And then we code in and install in a brand new belief, which will say things like, you love leaving food. It thrills you to leave food. It elates you to say no to alcohol or cigarettes. It thrills you to talk on stage, because the mind gets very, very turned on by the powerful language. So in my case, I had cancer twice, and I would always say to my body, you are a wellness producing machine. Yes. Your job is to do wellness. And I would hypnotize myself over and over again and say to my body, do wellness. That's your job. I command you to do wellness. And I bounce back from that really fast each time. And when people say, well, I'm a cancer survivor, goes, no, I'm not a cancer survivor. I don't want that. I don't have it. And I don't even really refer to it that much, except if I'm using an example today. I don't talk about it. I never call myself a survivor of it. I prefer not to use the word that much. Good. But it's a choice. You can go, oh my God, I've got this, and it's life-threatening. Or you can go, listen, it was a blip. I got it, and now I haven't got it. And my body is a wellness producing machine. My body does wellness. I mean, it's a word, isn't it? I'm doing illness or wellness. You get to choose which word you want. Illness, wellness, wellness, illness. Because every word you speak and the way you feel about everything is down to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. When you say, I'm ill, I'm sick, like people in America go, I'm sick, I'm going, you're not sick. You have a cold. That's not sick. They go, I'm sick. I'm so sick. And I love Americans. I don't want to berate them. But in England, we don't we never say bad. You are bad. We say, no, you're naughty, which is a much better word. But I was always amazed when I would say, I'm sick. I'm really sick. What is it? Well, I've got a cold. I'm like, but a cold is not sick. A cold is a cold. Naughty is not bad. And so when you use these words, oh, I'm really sick, I'm in agony, your mind believes, like saying, I'm starving hungry. No one in America is starving hungry. No one in England is starving hungry. They may not have much money, but in the modern world, you don't starve. You may not be able to eat the kind of food of your dreams. Even if you're living on the street, they feed you.
Mm-hmm.
So people say, I could eat a horse. I'm absolutely ravenous. I am starving. If you tell your mind you're starving, it goes, okay. I have a little thing here called an apposite. And when you've had enough food, I shut down hunger. Except when you tell me you're starving. Starving is a threat to your survival. Remember, my job is to keep you alive. If you tell me you're starving, I'll respond by making you eat 5 times as much as you normally do, by never switching on the full and always keeping on a bit more, because you told me you're starving. And guess what? The thing that killed us 100 years ago, more than disease, more than anything, do you know what it was?
Gluttony?
Hunger.
Oh,
We
hunger.
died of hunger
Okay. I thought it was the opposite, and that's why we became starved. Okay.
No, we died of hunger. That's what people died of.
Yeah.
And so we're very scared of hunger. We go, oh my God, I'm so hungry. You know, my logical brain says, you know, in the house at home, I've got chicken and fish and vegetables. I've got all this lovely food that I cooked yesterday. But I'm waiting for the train, I'm starving, and I just need to go to that vending machine and mainline jelly beans and Coca-Cola and taco chips because I'm starving. So then you have to go, right, so listen, brain, I am hungry, there's no doubt about that, but I've got great food in the house, and I'm going to choose to wait 1 hour and eat better food because I'm not going to die of hunger in an hour or even 2 days.
No, or even more.
Yeah, you can live for a week with that food. Some people fast and say, I feel amazing.
Yes.
But it's that choice. But if you don't use the right words, if you go, I'm sick, this headache is killing me, I'm exhausted, which again is very rarely true in the modern world. You might be very tired, but I'm exhausted, I'm shattered, I'm dying of tiredness, I'm starving, hungry. We say such extreme words to our mind and then wonder why we get extreme reactions. And if you were just to say, you know, I am tired, I'm really tired, but I'm like a battery, I'm going to have 8 hours sleep and recharge. And so you got to catch yourself. You know, people say, I'm losing the will to live. I never say that. I used to. Losing the will to live. Oh my God, I'm on the phone for so long, I'm losing the will to live. What a thing to say. I say, I'm losing the will to stay in this conversation. I'm losing the will I'm losing the will to converse with this person who doesn't get it. But I never say, I'm losing the will to live. But it's a very common phrase. It's killing me. And people say that, you know, I killed it, I smashed it, I'm killing it. And they're very inappropriate words to use. I wanted to die.
Yeah.
You know, this guy asked me out, I wanted to die. I got an award at work, they called it, I wanted to die. Nobody wants to die. You could say, well, it was a little unexpected and I was a little unprepared for the attention being focused on me, or wow, and this great guy asked me out. I was like, wow, this is unfamiliar. But you don't want to die, and so don't use it. I want to die.
So words are very crucial. They're key, and so because the mind doesn't know the difference, it wants to protect us. It is we have to be very careful. So part of that enoughness is knowing that the words that we're using can help us choose health or choose disease.
Your words shape your reality. That's an absolute fact. The words you use shape your reality. If you don't like your reality, change your words. So people who are depressed, I mean, that's a terrible thing. They'll say things like, I'm so down, I'm so low, I'm just sinking here. And people who are not depressed will go, you know, I feel really buoyant and it's amazing and it's brilliant and I'm really up and I'm so high on this new project I'm working on. So studies have shown that your words will shape your reality. The way you feel about everything is down to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. Like we could say now, oh my God, I mean, is Iraq going to have a war with America? Are we all going to die? And if you say that, you're going to feel terrible. You can go, you know what? I'm just not even going to watch this on the news. I'm going to believe it will all blow over. It's not a great thing, but I'm going to believe I'm safe.
Yeah.
Because the way you feel is not down to what's going on in the outside world. It's to do with what you say to yourself. Like someone who's deeply religious on a plane that's in turbulence won't go, we're going to die. They go, well, you know, if we do, that's good. I'm going to go and meet Jesus and I love him. And it doesn't have to be real. It's the words you use affect the way you feel. So people who are going to speak on stage will often go, I'm so nervous. I'm terrified here. I'm losing it. Other people will say, I'm excited. I love speaking.
It has the same, yeah, it has the same excitement, you know, the same energy, but one brings your level up and one has a higher vibration than the other. And so I want to,
I was going on stage with somebody and they said, I'm losing my shit. I'm like, that is a terrible thing to say when you're I'm losing my shit here. I'm like, you know, you're really not. And you definitely really don't want to. Why would you say that to yourself? You could say, it's a little challenging. It's certainly something new, but it's exciting. Because when you feel that tingling in your fingers and toes and that churning in your stomach, that could be excitement. It can be because you're madly in love, about to have an orgasm, about to get an award, about to go on a hot date, or because you're terrified. The amazing thing is your mind doesn't know the difference between excitement and terror. So you might as well say everything is exciting because it doesn't know, and even more, it doesn't care. Your mind does not care if what you tell it is good or bad, useful or not, healthy or not, even if it's true or not, it just lets it in. So therefore tell it better stuff. I'm enough. I'm not enough. I'm enough. Here's a choice. I've got a great memory. I've got a mind like a sieve. People love me. I'm all on my own here. My body is always sick. I have a phenomenal immune system. You can choose when you have a brilliant mind, which everyone listening to the show definitely has. You have a choice. Rationalize why everything is going wrong or talk yourself out of it. So for instance, even getting a cold, I could say, you know, I never get sick. I can lie next to my husband streaming with cold. My body does once. I can go, don't touch me. Don't put that tissue in the bin. You know, I'm going to get sick now. You're sneezing everywhere. I knew it. You've infected me. Some people never get ill when they're around infection because your cells listen to what you say. And if you say, I've got a great immune system, then you will have a better immune system. If you say, well, I went out in the rain and my clothes, but now I'm going to get sick.
I'm so healthy. When people ask me, and even my husband, even when he knows that I might have a runny nose or I'm not feeling as well as I normally feel, he'll say, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm great. My body is healing. And so that's how we kind of psych ourselves. And by the way, Claudia, I know that you asked a question. I'll ask it in a little bit. But before we move on, I just want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Please become a subscriber. That's how you know who is the teacher in the classroom. And so while you're there, please follow me on facebook.com, Lillian's radio show. So the icons are there, YouTube channel. There's podcasts that you can follow depending on what you prefer. And also, while you're there, please check out my sponsors. Without my sponsors, there would be no classroom. Sponsors like Liberty Health Share. You can go to the icon that says sponsors. Keep Me Safe Organics, which is beauty products that are all organic, non-synthetic, no pesticides, from head to toe. I am a Keep Me Safe Organics girl. First Alternative Care, Dr. Stephen Grable, complimentary integrative doctor in Jacksonville, Florida. We have the pharmacy in Merritt Island, the Live Longer Medical, who's also doing changing your outlook from the inside out, and Ground Therapy. As always, absolutely love all my sponsors, as well as you. And you could become an enrolled student to help this classroom grow beyond what I ever think it could be. And so thank you so much for being a part today. Make sure you thank and like and share this information because it's so powerful. Because if it's about creating our reality. And if we are thinking this reality, we're going to create the reality. So I love what you're saying, Marisa, that it is so important for us to watch what we're saying. What are some of the ways? Let me ask Claudia. Let me ask Claudia's question first. She says, "How come when we are being conscious about what our mind is telling us, we still get scared?" So it's almost like we're overriding what our mind is what our mind is telling ourselves.
Well, you can get scared. It's being scared is one thing. Recognizing it and ignoring it. I mean, I was at the CNN Tower in Toronto last year, and I went up to the top, and I went to the edge. And as I got to the edge, my stomach dropped, and my mind went, "Get away from the edge, you crazy idiot! You're going to fall and kill yourself." Even though the glass was that thick, and I could not have fallen. But you see, it's wired into us to be scared, because that's how we survive. That's why when you walk home at night in the dark, you're very aware of people behind you. In the daytime, no. I was sitting by myself last night in my apartment because my husband's away in my big house. And I thought, I don't like having all the curtains open. I'm going to shut them because I felt a bit weird in the dark. But now I'm downstairs in the same room and I feel completely safe because it's light. So if someone knocked on my door to now, 1 o'clock, I go, "Oh, who's that?" 2 in the morning, I go, "Oh, who's that?" And I would feel scared because we're hardwired, again, it's to survive. So things like heat and heights and animals and people, we do a lot of things. You know, one of the reasons women are out, they go to the toilet together, is because years ago that made you said you never went to the bathroom on your own. You lived in a little tribe and the toilet was a little patch and you went with a group of women to be safe. And to this day, people go in a restaurant, who wants to come to the bathroom? No one. I'd never say to my mum, "Do you want to come to the bathroom with me?" In my house, in a restaurant, I say to my sister, "Let's go to the bathroom together." And we go without thinking. That's tribal. So much of what we do is tribal. And the tribalness is always to make us safe. And so if you feel the fear, think, well, that's to make me safe, you know, conforming and belonging, finding connection, avoiding rejection is to make you safe. If you feel scared of going to speak on stage or going to talk to someone that you might find attractive or offering to speak or do something, or even sending something back in a store or a restaurant, you have to just take a deep breath and go, look, it's okay. If it doesn't kill me or make me stronger, no one is judging you. The most important opinions are yours. And so it's okay to be scared. To this day, every time I step on a plane, when you're a parent, you always think, oh, I need to be safe. And every time we touch down, I'm very glad I'm safe, because once you're a parent, flying without your kids is very different. But no one gets in a car and goes, oh, I hope I'm safe this time. Let me do a quick prayer that I'll get to Ralph's Market intact, because we don't think we're not safe in a car. And yet statistically, the most dangerous part of a flight is the drive to the airport. But it's a belief I'm not safe on a plane. You know, we put seat belts on, we set the burglar on, we double lock the door. We don't go, oh my God, I'm exposed here. We do little things to make us feel safe, and it's okay. It's okay to feel safe, and it's okay to be scared, because being scared makes you pay attention. I'm scared to run across the road. I wait until the traffic lights change. If I see a great big dog, I stand still and wait for it to go past. If I see some loony person in the street, like where I live in Venice in LA, there's certainly some interesting characters. I cross the road, not to be rude, but I think, well, this person clearly isn't well. I'm just going to get out of their vicinity. So sometimes being scared is telling you.
It's our intuition. It could be our intuition.
Yeah, and it's okay. But if you're scared of normal things like going out and talking to people, you have to go, no, I'm excited. And one of the things that makes people successful, amazingly, and it's so easy, is people who succeed do what they don't want to do. They will do what they don't want to do to get to where they want to be. People who fail will give up their dream before they do what they don't want. So if you are challenged to speak to some guy that you'd like to go on a date with, or ask the guy you're with, listen, this is what I like in bed, or to say, you know, I'd really like to remember my birthday, or to say to your boss, I've been in this company for a long time and I'd like a pay rise or a promotion. If you think you're scared, rehearse it and tell yourself, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Sing that song, This Girl Is on Fire, or that song by Sia, I Am Titanium, or sing that song, I'm having fun, Don't Stop Me Now, I'm having a good time, I'm having a ball. The reason politicians use songs at rallies is because they send a message. So pick a line from a song, I'm having the time of my life, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, and I'm feeling good.
Love it. I love
Make
it.
that your anthem, and then you'll go up to the guy, go up to your boss, ask for what you want in the bedroom, ask for what you want in a store or a restaurant, and know that nobody can reject you ever unless you give them your consent, which you never have to do. And by the way, their opinion will not affect you, yours will.
Correct.
The most important words you'll ever hear are the words you say, and the thing that will build your self-esteem out of all proportion is not what it's you. If you can, praise will build your self-esteem, but it's your praise. Other people's praise can be used to manipulate you, but if you want to grow confidence, praise it. Look at them and go, hey, here I am, I'm nice, I'm kind, I'm warm, I'm a good person. It doesn't matter what size you wear or the numbers on your birth certificate, or on the scales, or in your clothing, or in your bank account. They don't define you.
Mm-hmm.
Enoughness do. So if you say, I'm enough, I've always been enough, and I always will be enough, you might well go, well, of course. Because the strength is in the simplicity. You said at the beginning, it's simple. It's meant to be simple. When you go, hey, I'm just a goddess, your mind goes, really? Because you seem to show it. And you don't live in a goddess's house. Hey, I'm a rock star. It goes, but you're not really a rock star because you haven't even got a car. But when you go, I'm enough, it goes, well, absolutely. And
I'm
you
enough.
always will be. So I'm enough. Your strength is its simplicity. If you go to marisapierre.com, we give away a ton of stuff. We have wealth wiring audios and love blocks and money blocks and I'm enough blocks. And we give those all away completely.
Yeah.
So we give you a ton of stuff, health blocks, everything, because I want everyone to know they're enough and to not have a lack of love or money or health to stand in their way.
And for those of you who would like to practice rapid transformational therapy, you can also do that as well. Marisa has, I know she's coming to Miami, and I've been looking at going to Miami as well. So those are different ways that we can not only just for ourselves, but maybe help others if you're interested in doing that as well. So self-praise. And I love the fact that you differentiate the two, like I'm a rock star, I'm a this versus I am enough. So at what point, and you also mentioned when people, whatever people think of you, and I always say all the time, it's none of my business what you think of me. However, there's still a part of me that can be wounded. And so there are steps that I can protect myself so that their criticism doesn't change who I am and what I want. And so what kind of advice do you offer for people who are trendsetters and that want to create a difference, not only in themselves, but with people that you'll meet? So what are some of the tips, advice that you can give someone who finds themselves as a trendsetter, because those are the ones will be where the bigger targets?
I mean, you know, we are wired to find connection and avoid rejection, because not long ago, surviving was a numbers game. You know, if you only have to watch Game of Thrones to see that surviving on the planet required belonging to a tribe, belonging to a group, and the bigger the group, the more you would survive. And so it wasn't that long ago that you really couldn't make it on your own, and that's why all cultures practice banishment or casting out or solitary confinement or marooning, because it was a huge punishment to be on your own. And now we kind of say, well, I'm sitting in my apartment, I've got 6 cats, I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon deliveries, and we actually punish ourselves. We shut ourselves away from people. And so it's important to remember that you need people. Your DNA insists that you have relationships. And while you could live with no one and get to 110, maybe, it's not quite the same, because we need people. So if you're a trendsetter, that's great. And if you're an influencer, that's great. And I guess that's what I am, because some of my YouTube talks have got 7 million views.
Yes,
but
yes.
The truth, people need people. Shopping doesn't make you happy. If things made you happy, if having a Jo Malone candle made you happy, why have you got 10? If a pair of shoes made you feel so good, why do you need 20 pairs?
Yes.
You don't need more. The thing that makes you feel good is your self-esteem. So say nice things to yourself. I'm a good person. I like myself. Look at all the stuff you've got and think, you know, everything you want, bar none, is because of how it makes you feel. I want a good-looking boyfriend. I want really well-behaved kids. I want a lovely home. I want designer clothes. I want Prada shoes. I want whatever you want is because of how it makes you feel. And when you can get the feeling without the stuff, you have absolutely cracked it.
Wonderful.
Doesn't mean you can't have nice stuff, but whatever you want to have. Well, why do I want to be a size 8 or a size 4? Why do I want a flat stomach? Because I'll feel good, but I could feel good anyway. And that doesn't mean I won't go to the gym and work to have a fit body, but you can feel good anyway. There's plenty of women, by the way, who look amazing.
Yes. And so Marisa, because this is the end of the podcast. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, you could go to YouTube or Facebook to finalize. We're gonna do some more conversations with our teachers' pets here that are on Facebook Live. Marisa, thank you so much for everything you do and for being such a influencer in my life and in the life of so many. So thank you.
And go to rtc.com if you want to come to Miami and train with me, or you can do it RTC.
Okay, so please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott and Marisa Peers wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
And are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
I'm so sorry, Marisa, with the podcast, but go ahead and share about the training, the RTT training, if you'd like to talk about any of...
If you want to do what I do, no background in therapy is required. No previous therapy experience is necessary. And you can do it online, and we do it live. This year we're doing it in LA, London, Miami, possibly New York, but 100% LA, London, and Miami. Go to rtt.com, and you can find out all about how to train with me completely online or live and online. If you want to find a therapist like me, also go to rtt.com and you can find some. And if you want to have some free products, some wealth blocks, love blocks, health blocks, just go to marisapeer.com and we give away a ton of stuff because we love it.
You do. You have so much content and it's so helpful. And so people think that healing spirit, mind, and body is expensive, but it really doesn't need to be. The work that you're doing, Marisa, is so crucial. And people can choose to be all about health as well. We have a few questions. Do you have some time, Marisa?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Perfect. And I would love to do like maybe not a meditation, but kind of an exercise for someone who perhaps understands. Like for someone like I went back when I was in my 50s, like 47, and I started thinking, what do I want? I want the next 50 years to be better than my first. And I became a life, I went for personal growth, and it turned my life completely to a different place. And I went back to become a life coach. And so with that, I discovered some of my triggers and why I felt that lack of enoughness. And so, but even knowing it, sometimes it's hard. And of course, I'm just saying this, sometimes it's different and new to create some new words. And I love words like phenomenal and exciting and all the words that you use to kind of override. So if somebody is feeling that they're not enough, or maybe they can go back and say, this was the root cause of why I started feeling not enough. What are some of the words to say to kind of override the mentality that we are not enough?
Enough is enough. Just I say enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Okay, we're done.
Just saying I am enough. One of my favorite expressions is I have phenomenal coping skills. That's a great thing to say. I'm choosing to do this. I'm choosing to speak to a group, choosing to eat better food, choosing to go to the gym, choosing to put my health first, and I'm choosing to feel great about it. And the other, so there's 4 things you can do. One is I'm enough. That's a game changer. Second is to say, whatever you're doing, I'm choosing to take the sugar out of my coffee and I'm choosing to love it. Remember, it doesn't have to be true, but it will become true. And I want it. I want to go to the gym. I want to eat better. I want to talk to a nice guy and to end up with a nice guy. And I'm going to make it happen. And if you say that with that kind of confidence in your voice, your mind goes, oh, you want that? And there's no fear. There's no, but what if he rejects me or says, oh, no, I don't want to talk to you. If you can say it with confidence, you can achieve it. And so that's really important. And that's really all you need to do. Don't make it complicated. It's very simple. Health is simple. Say, I like it, I've chosen it. No vegan goes, oh my God, every day I wake up and I have to work so hard not to eat. I don't eat. They're animals. There's no struggle there. If you shove a lens in your eye, it feels really weird, very unnatural. But if you keep doing it, you can do it without even a mirror. Just pop it in, take it out, even with nails, because you can do anything.
So make it familiar.
Just make it familiar. We are wired to go towards what's familiar. And we're wired to resist what is unfamiliar. That's a fact. But here's another fact. Feeding yourself wasn't familiar once. Neither was going to the toilet. But you learned to do that, and now you don't give it a second thought. You can make anything familiar. Putting a lens in your eye, all kinds of weird things. Waxing your legs. We do so many things to ourselves that are painful. And we go, well, it's important. I need to do that. My husband, when I'm epilating my legs, I could never do that. I'm like, baby, it's just like hoovering. You just hoover your legs up and down and it's all done. I did it to him once. He screamed like a went, oh, I don't know how you do that. I said, well, I just don't think about it. It's just like I vacuum my legs, get rid of all the hairs, and I can even do it under my arms because it's so fast. But I don't go, oh my God, it's going to hurt. Oh, get ready for the pain. I just do it and go, well, it's done now. So make it simple, make it easy on yourself. Say, I like it. I have to take, because I did have that illness, I have to take this pretty disgusting concoction on a regular basis to make sure that I don't get that again. And every time I pour it in the glass and it's brown, I go, apple juice, yummy apple juice. I put water, I drink it. It's never nice, but because I say apple juice, yummy, yummy apple juice. And I've been doing it for 3 years. And it isn't nice, but my husband said, I don't know how you drink that. So I said, well, I tell my body it's apple juice. My body doesn't stop to think, and then I get to swallow it. The first time I actually threw up because it was so awful. But I thought, no, I've got to do this. So, if people who go and have a tattoo don't go, does it hurt? They're going to put a needle in me. They go, well, you're going to have a tattoo. Of course it hurts. But people who are having a tattoo, a whole sleeve on their arm, go, oh my God, they're going to put a needle in me. People who won't go to the dentist because they're going to have a needle in their gum. But compare that to going and having a sleeve tattooed on your arm and your back and your leg and think, well, they do it because they go, I want the tattoo. So wanting it, telling your mind, I want this, I want it, I want it, I want it, takes away all the resistance. So whatever you want, say to your mind, hey mind, I want it. I really, really want it. And if you say that, then, it becomes easy. For instance, when I was ill, I did this diet of just green vegetables. How did you do that? I said, I wanted to live at any cost. At any cost. I would have done anything. Someone said, stick pigeon droppings in your armpit. And I would have done that because I wanted to be here for my kid. And there was nothing I wasn't going to do. So living on green vegetables and forgoing all the stuff I loved, I kind of called it the terror diet because it was like a joke. It's like, well, I'll do anything to stay in this life because I love life. It's beautiful. I want to be here for years and years and years. Rather than going, well, what's the point? Why bother with all the green juicing? Nothing works. No, it does work. If I tell myself it works, it works. And many of my clients say when I'm taking that stuff, I imagine all the goodness going through my body and my cells. And when I was not well, I told my body every day, I visualized my immune system defeating
love it
word and getting rid of it. And you can do, you do have to recognize that if you have an illness, don't go, hey, here it is, can you fix it? You got to fix it. Participate in your recovery. whatever you're doing, juicing, eating better, thinking better thoughts, imagine it working. Participate in your recovery. And if you participate in it, you'll recover, and then you'll be amazing. And don't get going, well, you know, I failed once and this terrible thing happened. Just go, yeah, well, that's not me.
You know, a lot of people say they want something, and it reminds me of that song. And I sing this song very often in the classroom. And I don't know if you know who the singer Meatloaf is.
I know Meatloaf.
Do you remember that song? I would do anything for love. And you know, and it could be health, it could be a relationship, it could be anything. But then he says, but I won't do that. That is what we constantly do to ourselves. Oh, I want to be happy. But then
I know. People say to me, I'd do anything to lose weight. I go, okay, well, I don't want to do that.
Exactly. The song.
I'd do anything to lose weight except go to the gym and give up cake. I'd do anything to find love, but I'm not going to go on.
But I won't do that. Yeah.
Might reject me. I do anything to be successful except get off the couch and talk to people. You know, people who make it do a lot of things they don't want to do. That's the mark of it. I said that earlier. They do what they don't want to do in order to get to. It's like for me, I want to.
And they choose it. And they choose it, right, Marisa?
So in order for me to have what I want, I have to have what I don't want. So actually, that's not the right way. I have to get what I want, I have to also not have what I want. So I don't have cake. I don't have chocolate. I don't have pizza. I don't really care about pizza anyway. Chocolate, I could like that now and again. But to have what I want, which is health and a long life, requires me to also not have what I want. And I make that decision every day. I get up in the morning, I drink a lot of water. I don't have tons of coffee, and I don't have hot chocolate with cream and marshmallows on it. I could easily have that, but I think, no, what do I want? I want health and vitality. And that requires not having what I want, doing the things I don't want to do, which is what successful people do. When I go out to dinner, I could eat loads of bread and cake, but I don't, because I focus on what I want, which is health and fitness.
I love it.
Because that's my alarm telling me that I have to be somewhere else.
Okay. So is that your heart out? Are we ready to go?
I think it's been now about 20 minutes, but I'm really out of time. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry for those of you who asked some questions and we couldn't get to it. Maybe Marisa will join us again. But thank you so much.
You email Marisa at marisa.com. I promise I'll answer your questions, Marisa.
Perfect. I'll send you all your questions, so stay tuned. We'll answer them for you. Thank you so much, Marisa, for everything that you're doing. Absolutely adore you, and I hope to meet you in Miami.
Yeah, come to Miami for the RTT training. It's amazing.
I would love that.
To be there. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And thank you, everybody, for watching today and for being in the classroom. Please share this information and help us grow. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.